Hey, all my homies hate Houston.
Wow. Is your PR person sitting right next to you holding up a sign to say that? That's greatness, man. The big story when it comes to soccer, of course, is what happened with the U.S. men's team against Mexico. And you've had your share of matches playing for the U.S. men's team, but from the sidelines, as a player versus, say, a fan, how do you watch a game, not just any game, but a game against Mexico and the repercussions that it has with the U.S. versus Mexico?
I want to be in that game, but obviously watching as a fan, as a supporter, the emotions are high. I'm on edge the whole game, yelling at the screen, hoping the players do well. I want everybody to do well, and for us to get the win versus Mexico it's a big rivalry, and we haven't always done as good as we want to against Mexico. So for that young group to do really well and get the win in a cup final is huge, and I felt all the emotions sitting at home watching it. So I was really happy for the guys.
Can you explain, because I think some of the fans have just a roller coaster of emotions when it comes to the U.S. men's national team, because to qualify for the Olympics, it's the under-23 group. To be other worldwide competitions, it's the senior group, 24 and up. So it's a little disappointing to see that the under-23 group over the years has failed to qualify for the Olympic, but then, God, that roller coaster goes back up the hill as the U.S. beats El Tri in overtime, and it makes us so excited for the World Cup again. And that's a young team too. So can you kind of explain what's going on between the two teams and what fans have to look forward to in the future?
Yeah, I mean, for one, yeah, it's tough. It's tough being a part of that Olympic group and not qualifying. Is the goal we set out to be is in the Olympics, but it's a struggle we've had, and playing in those games with little to none training, preparing for it is tough. But I mean, the fans should have a lot to be excited for. As you saw versus Mexico, we're an exciting group. We fight till the end, like we did in that game, and there's a lot of talent that's coming up, still to come up. You've seen a couple names out there that are big time players that help us get wins, but I mean, I'm looking forward to the World Cup and the qualification coming to it. It's going to be really exciting to watch.
Now, how do you know, or at least how much warning are you given, whether it's an email or a text saying, hey, we need you to come back to the U.S. men's national team practice field and you might be up for the World Cup team? How does all that communication work out with you guys?
Yeah, so they'll send emails prior, a couple months prior before the training camp, and then they'll have a prelim roster, and then they'll cut it down to the small group that gets to go, and then you go from there. But I haven't heard anything yet, so just continue working in Dallas, focusing on being here and in the moment. So if that comes, it comes, but just staying here focused.
Did you just say you get an email? You don't get a phone call? Listen, bro, you're getting called up to the U.S. men's team. You get a damn email, not even a phone call?
You get an email for the prelim roster, and I'm sure a couple players, if it's big enough for Olympic roster or World Cup roster, you probably get a phone call. But all the camps I've been to, it's friendlies, the Olympics, you get called to, you go down there and you have to train for 2 weeks before you even make the team. So it's nothing too big that I've been to. So yeah, it's just an email, but yeah, a phone call would be nice for some of those camps.
When you do get that email, what's the protocol for you? Meaning, do you have to clear certain physicals or make sure you've got the vaccinations? Do you have a physical at all before you go join the men's team?
Yeah, so we have to do a lot of stuff at the club you're at. They have to send all over the records, and then you have to go get another physical prior to going to camp, and then you have to do 3 or 4 COVID tests online as they watch you take it, and pass those tests negative, and then you're allowed to come into camp. And then when you get there, you still have to do certain testing and make sure you're ready to go. So those are just some of the things, yeah.
Hold on a second. Do you feel like you're just poked and prodded all the time? I mean, you guys aren't guinea pigs here. You are professional athletes. You shouldn't have to have another physical if you just performed that week of and you were totally fine.
I mean, it is what it is. I've only been to a couple camps, and every time I've had to get a physical, it's nothing bad. Just they make it quick and easy. They know that probably nothing's wrong with you. So it's not as in deep as it should be, but it's good, quick, easy, and it gets you ready to go. So
I want to go back to the U.S. national team for just a second, which is during that game at the very end of the match, fans started to throw crap on the field, and it got me thinking about other fan bases in sports who are a little over the top. Is there an MLS team and their supporters, their fans, then when you walk into their home stadium or whatever it may be, there you go, oh crap, I have to play in front of these guys for a full 90 minutes?
Playing for only, a year and a half in the MLS, especially last year, not a lot of fans in those stands, and not a lot of fans outside the stands as well. So honestly, I haven't really been to any hostile environments in the MLS. Obviously, Houston is our big rivalry, and so at those games, we have a lot of fans that come early to try to haze us or do whatever. So I guess I'd say Houston, but still have a lot of experience to go see other teams, and then I'll come back with you at that answer.
What's it been like for you playing with no fans at all then?
It was weird kind of at the beginning of the year. Last year I played 2 home games, and then we were getting ready to go to New York, and then the whole COVID thing happened, and then after that, no fans, and it was weird at the beginning playing in the empty stadium. It kind of feels like a scrimmage, but the guys, we keep focused and keep working hard, and slowly but surely the fans have been able to come back, and now here in Dallas we're back at 100%. So it's really good to have fans back in the stands. It's a whole different atmosphere, but yeah, it was definitely weird at the beginning.
Obviously, we think you made the right decision instead of kicking in college football, coming and going pro in soccer. But do you feel like the beginning of your career has been cheated because of the pandemic? Or do you look at it as a pretty good opportunity to just take some baby steps and really grow as a young athlete?
No, for sure. It was baby steps. It was a lot of opportunities that came my way because of COVID. Injuries and other things like that. Got minutes to play, got to travel with a team, experience different things, get closer to my teammates during quarantine than maybe I would if there was none. So I think there was positives and negatives, but for me, I think there was more positives in terms of soccer. So got a lot of opportunities, and I took advantage of them. So I mean, obviously COVID was not what we wanted to happen, but in terms of soccer for me, created a lot of chances for me.
FC Dallas or U.S. men's team, is there any kind of hazing that goes on for you guys when you get called up? Do the dudes that have been on the U.S. men's team the longest start hazing youngins like you?
Usually for FC Dallas, all the new guys have to sing a song, and it's pretty enjoyable, get you going with the team. And then usually it's the same when the men's national team had to sing a song, but with the 23s, Jason made everybody stand up and tell the team a fun fact about yourself, and then tell them something that it's a secret that you didn't want people to know. So that was a little different for the 23s, but it was all fun and games, and it helped you get closer to the group. So I enjoy those.
Well, hold on. What is Tanner Tessmann's fun fact?
I forgot. I can't tell y'all. I forgot.
Oh, you are full of it. Come on. The fun fact is...
Fun fact is I have a podcast named Chum Chat, so y'all can go check it out on YouTube, Instagram.
Oh.
And he's become a genius at marketing with Chum Chat. Yes, he has.
Oh, it's perfect. That's a great answer. You being a former kicker, and we know the whole story again, you had to make the decision of playing soccer or moving forward with your kicking game. Do you watch football and specifically the kickers as much as you did back when you were kicking in college, or is it not a big deal to you now?
To be honest, I never watched kickers. Not a lot of NFL either. If I was watching football, it was college football, and barely maybe just when Clemson played or some of my buddies were watching, I would watch. But now probably the same. If Clemson's playing, I'll watch, I'll support. But not a lot of football goes on unless I'm at a friend's house and we're watching the NFL game or something's going on or playoffs or something like that. But yeah, not huge in the NFL and college football.
Hold on, though. The Super Bowl comes down to a field goal. You aren't just getting nervous for that kicker if he's going to make it or miss it?
A little bit. I understand the pressure now of a field goal. It seems easy, but I mean, the slightest miss kick and it can go the wrong way, or hits the wind different and it can go the wrong way. So I feel for him a little more, but yeah, still on the edge of my seat regardless.
We had Lundqvist on from the Dynamo a couple of weeks ago, and I like to talk trash with anybody from Houston. And you've been in Dallas, at least in my eyes, long enough to know how much Dallasites just don't dig anything south of Dallas, including Houston. How bad do you dislike Houston? Give me something.
Hey, all my homies hate Houston. That's all I can say.
But you don't?
Hey, All my homies hate Houston.
He's a guy that wants to just let it stay on the field. It's like, let's not talk trash and get the fans all riled up like Richie was just talking about earlier. He doesn't want to walk into that hostile environment. Let's just leave it on the field. Leave it on the pitch.
Is that true?
Hey, all my homies hate Houston.
Wow. Is your PR person sitting right next to you holding up a sign to say that? That's greatness, man.
I want to go back to the football conversation for just a second. Let's just play a hypothetical here. What if the Jacksonville Jaguars call you and you get a call from Urban Meyer, one of the best college head coaches of all time, and he goes, "Hey, Tanner, you want to come try and get a tryout with us to play kicker for us? You get to hang out with Trevor Lawrence and Tim Tebow, the tight end." Or are you gonna be like, "Hell yeah, I want to come kick for you guys"?
Maybe in 15 years. Not the moment.
Could you make an NFL team right now?
I'd like to think so. Yeah.
What's the furthest you've been back from those uprights and blasted one?
I think it was 63 yards.
Oh, damn.
With the wind?
It was inside, so no wind.
It's balls.
Would you be able to do it barefoot? Like Kenny was old school. He used to be a barefoot kicker.
Honestly, probably not. My foot would be so red. Yeah, that's tough.
Tanner, listen, this is the second time in the Frick Nation. Do you have more respect for me knowing that I was a barefoot soccer-style kicker in the freaking early 80s, bro?
I actually do. That's pretty impressive. I remember looking it up when my dad told me that people used to kick barefoot a long time ago. I was like, there's no way. There's no way. And so I honestly do have a lot of respect for you now.
A long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
That is badass.
So now, Tanner, you can get Kenny on your show, Chum Chat, and you can talk all barefoot kicking all you want.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
Hey, talk about Chum Chat. Was this your idea, someone else's idea to jump into this? Because it's a different animal for athletes to get into what we've been doing for decades.
Yeah, so I was in a group chat with two of my buddies that played at FC Dallas, John Gomez and Judson Burns. And, we were good friends. And it kind of just popped up, maybe we should start a podcast or YouTube or something like that. And I immediately jumped on podcasts and we just kind of started. It didn't take long to prep for it. And we just started on Zoom before COVID happened. So we were the knowers of Zoom before COVID. And we got on Zoom. And we started doing it, and it's kind of just been our thing since. We really enjoy it, getting on, making that connection, learning about people's different pathways, and we really enjoy it. So it's been a fun ride so far, and hopefully there's a lot more to come.
Though, of course, it's not on my computer right now, but I had your website pulled up just a little bit ago, and you are still, it says a pro soccer player, a football player, Clemson football player, and then an average Joe. You're still the Clemson football player. You need to change that.
I do need to change that. Thank you for giving me a heads up.
What are some of the difficulties that you run into having to talk to a camera and use a microphone that you maybe have taken for granted prior to jumping into media?
I'd say honestly, just a connection. Obviously, we're not in the same room as a lot of podcast people are, and we don't have guests in person, so it's hard to get a feel for people sometimes and see what they're what kind of mood they're in and stuff like that. So it's tough in that aspect of, people lose connection sometimes, and it's a hassle getting on at a certain time. And before my co-host was living in Portugal, so it's a big time difference. So scheduling people was tough. Sometimes I'd stay up late or sometimes he stay up late, and it was tough to work it out, but it's just a part of it. And we enjoy that. We embrace that. And it's kind of makes memories and makes it better for us in the long run.
You're familiar with Daniel Saloy with KC?
I'm not, no.
He was up one time for, what was that, Richie? Was it a MLS Bachelor show?
It was
right?
It was a live version of The Bachelor in Kansas City. I guess they were doing a live touring show, and he was nominated by his teammates to be like The Bachelor on this version of the touring version of the show, basically.
Is that something that Tanner Tessmann would do? Come on.
No.
What?
No.
Your game is that good that you don't need a show to get you a date.
I'd like to think so, I'd like to think so. At the moment, I have a girlfriend as well, so I'm sure she would like me going on The Bachelor.
But how did you attract her?
I mean, I guess a lot of things. I guess my morals and my looks. So I guess that's kind of it.
You know what I'm doing here? I'm reverse chum chatting you. So now I'm the same thing that you do with some of the players you have on. I'm doing the reverse to you now. Bring it. Give me the dirt.
Hey, that's good. I need to take notes and hopefully bring it to Chum Chat and make the show a little better.
It's entertaining because I like how you dive into these guys' love lives and their music interests and some crazy stories. I mean, the sport, no matter what the sport is, if it's soccer, football, basketball, that only goes so far. And then people want to know who these people are. How do you pee like me? Do you sleep like me? And that's what you guys do. And that's good. That's fun.
Right. Tanner Tessmann, part of FC Dallas, joining us here in the Freak Nation. Dude, thanks for doing this, man. It's a pleasure to get you in here. Welcome to our media side of the world with your Chum Chat, bud.
Of course. Yeah. Thanks for having me on. Take some notes and bring it to Chum Chat, make the show a little better. Might get you on, talk about some barefoot kicking.
Oh,
right.
Lord.
Hey, did you take a shower before this interview?
Yeah, I took a shower at probably around 12:30.
Attaboy. You look fresh, man. I'm not a bromance here. You look fresh. Thanks for doing it. Because if I'm out playing soccer in this humidity in Dallas, I certainly wouldn't look like you right now. So you did take a shower.
I appreciate that.
Oh my God.